All right, buckle up for a deep dive today. We're going deep into the world where AI and Bitcoin collide, and they're both smashing headfirst into global finance.
Sounds intense.
It is. And we're using a really cool audio source for this one. It's called Crypto and Coffee at 8, and it's a daily update from this crypto enthusiast, George. He's over at Blockchain DXB.
All right.
This was recorded on January 28th, 2025, and it's not just like, your typical dry market report.
What's different about it?
He talks about how, like, crazy events, things that you wouldn't think are connected at all stuff, like, say, a new AI platform launching, how that can shake up Bitcoin and then tech stocks and then even, like, ripple all the way out to international trade.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, that's a pretty fascinating snapshot of just how interconnected our world is. We tend to think of these things as separate, these sectors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they all kind of feed back into each other, don't they?
Exactly.
Kind of that butterfly effect thing,
Yeah.
One little flap of the wings.
The whole system changes.
Yeah.
So first up, let's talk about this Chinese AI platform. It's called DeepSeek, and it's been blowing up.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, and it's already beating out ChatGPT in U.S. downloads.
Oh, wow. That's big. That really challenges the idea that, like we always hear that U.S. companies are going to be the ones that dominate, right?
Yeah.
Like that's it. U.S. AI is going to be the best.
Right.
But DeepSeek's success suggests that we might be moving towards something a little bit different, like a multipolar world where different countries, not just the U.S., but different companies all over are taking the lead and kind of pushing AI forward in all sorts of different ways.
Yeah, that's a good point. And what I think is even more interesting is how DeepSeek handles, like, controversial topics,
Okay, yeah.
George, the guy from the audio, he mentioned that DeepSeek straight up refused to answer a question about whether or not China is communist.
That's wild. You'd think like an AI,
Right.
just code, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't really have those kinds of hangups.
Yeah, like biases or whatever.
Okay.
But clearly, like, it's not just code running wild. There's definitely a human element there, and global politics is woven right into how this thing is programmed.
For sure. AI development, it doesn't just happen in, like, a bubble, right? It reflects, it's like a mirror. It reflects the values, the priorities of the people who create it.
Right.
And those can be super intertwined with, like you said, national interests. It's almost like a reminder that technology, even something as advanced as AI, it's never truly objective. It's always going to be shaped by, like the world it's born into.
Right, right. So, okay, DeepSeek's making a huge entrance, but here's where it gets really interesting. Its success is actually causing some other things to happen. It's making tech stocks dip, especially Nvidia.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and the rumor mill's going crazy saying that DeepSeek is buying up tons and tons of Nvidia chips. It's making investors nervous.
Oh, I see.
So it's this perfect example of how one little thing, like innovation in one sector, like a new AI platform, right, can have this crazy domino effect across totally different areas.
Yeah, totally.
In this case, AI advancements hit the chip makers, right? Then that influences tech stocks.
Which were completely separate.
Right. But
not really, I guess. It's all connected.
And the crazy part is it doesn't even stop there.
Oh, no.
All this stuff with the tech stocks dipping is making the cryptocurrency market, a little jumpy too. Bitcoin even is seeing a little drop in its price.
It just shows you really how interconnected all these global markets truly are. Even if, like, you and I, we're not, like, personally invested in tech stocks or cryptocurrency.
Right.
It's a good reminder that what happens in one place can have a real impact somewhere else, no matter how different they seem.
Yeah, totally. Now, George, the guy in the audio clip, he's also keeping a super close eye on the Federal Reserve.
The Fed?
Yeah, because they're getting ready to announce, like, all their big interest rate decisions. And he's really interested in what's going on with stablecoins, which have been seeing, like, a big surge lately, like their volumes going way up.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, the Fed's decisions can have a massive impact, right?
Huge.
On the value of the U.S. dollar.
Right.
And that, of course, that affects cryptocurrency values, too. And stable coins, they're designed to kind of stay steady. Their value is usually pegged to the U.S. dollar. So people see them as, like, a safe place to park your money when the market's all over the place.
Oh, I see.
It's like, you're on a roller coaster and you just want to get off for a minute.
Right.
Stable coins are like that little break.
Gotcha.
You can just kind of catch your breath.
Yeah. So George thinks all this increased volume with stablecoins means that investors are, like, holding on to their crypto. They're waiting to see what happens after the Fed makes their announcement.
That makes sense. Kind of batten down the hatches,
Yeah.
wait for the storm to pass.
Yeah.
then you can come out and play again.
He sees it as like a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that he's reading it that way.
What do you mean?
Couldn't you also see this whole surge in stablecoins
Yeah.
as a sign that people are actually kind of scared? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe they're flocking to stablecoins because they're worried about losing money? Not necessarily because they think everything's going to be awesome, you know?
You hit the good point. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, there's definitely two sides to every coin, as they say. Pun intended.
Right. It'll be really interesting to see what actually happens after the announcement.
For sure.
Right.
It's always so fascinating to see how things play out in the real world, you know, because it's never as simple as it seems. It's like a giant puzzle.
Yeah.
You're always trying to figure out which pieces fit together.
Yeah.
And sometimes the pieces change shape right in front of you.
Right. Okay, so we've got AI like totally shaking things up and the Fed keeping everybody on edge and stablecoins are becoming like the hot topic. But George also dropped some news about, well, he's been nicknamed Bitcoin Jesus.
Oh, wow.
This guy, Roger Ver, he's been arrested in Spain. Yeah, for tax evasion. And now he's like begging former President Trump for help.
Okay, hold on. Back up a second. Roger Ver.
Yeah.
So he's a bit of a controversial guy, but you can't deny he had a huge impact in those early Bitcoin days.
Like the OG Bitcoin people?
Yeah, he was one of the first big investors and was really out there promoting cryptocurrency before most people even knew what it was. That's how he got that nickname, Bitcoin Jesus.
Right. But it's just crazy because he renounced his U.S. citizenship. Right. So I don't even know if Trump can do anything to help him.
It's like, where does U.S. authority even begin and end, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like, you throw Bitcoin into the mix.
Right.
A decentralized technology that's supposed to be beyond borders.
It's just like this tangled web, you know?
Yeah, it just gets more and more complex the deeper you go.
It really highlights how unpredictable the human element can be in finance, right?
Totally. We always focus on like the numbers, you know, like the algorithms.
On the tech side.
Right, the tech.
But it's people making these decisions, and they're not always rational.
Absolutely. You can have all the market data in the world.
Yeah.
And you can analyze trends and build fancy algorithms.
Right.
But in the end, it's human behavior that throws everything off.
Yeah, because people are unpredictable. Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about something that could be really huge for Bitcoin. BlackRock, you know, the biggest asset manager in the world, they're proposing a Bitcoin ETF with like a really unique twist.
A twist? What kind of twist?
They want investors to be able to cash in their shares for actual Bitcoin, not just hash.
Whoa, hold on. So they're not just talking about like tracking the price of Bitcoin like a regular ETF.
Yep.
They're saying you can actually get your hands on the real deal, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
It's like they're saying, hey, come on in, Wall Street, everybody. We're making it easy and, most importantly, safe for you to get into Bitcoin.
It's pretty groundbreaking. I mean, could this mean that the way the whole financial world sees cryptocurrency is starting to shift?
That's what I was thinking.
Because for a long time, Bitcoin was just this, like, fringe thing. You know?
Yeah.
But if BlackRock's involved, it's like it automatically gets this, like, stamp of approval.
Yeah.
And that could bring in a flood of institutional investors.
Like a tidal wave of money.
Exactly. It could be a major turning point, really, towards mainstream acceptance. Like, you know, Bitcoin goes from being this weird, risky thing to something that's like, okay, BlackRock's in, it must be legit. Yeah. You know, your grandma might even start asking about it at Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you know it's hit the big time.
Right. But while all these big players are jumping into the crypto game, it's not all sunshine and roses. You know, the legal stuff is still a minefield for some companies.
Oh, yeah. Like this company, KuCoin, they're a cryptocurrency exchange, and they just got hit with a huge legal blow.
Yeah, this is a big one. It's like a perfect example of the struggles that the crypto industry faces when it comes to regulations.
Like, they're trying to do their thing, but the rules are still catching up.
Exactly.
So the co-founder of KuCoin pleaded guilty to operating an unlicensed, what they call a money transmitting business.
Ooh.
And they have to pay a massive fine.
Like eye-watering.
Almost $300 million.
That is a serious chunk of change.
Yeah.
It really highlights how there's this clash happening.
What do you mean?
You've got cryptocurrency, which is all about being decentralized. It wants to operate outside the traditional system. But then you have these centralized financial regulations that are, well, they're just trying to figure out what to do with it all.
Yeah, it's like two worlds colliding.
It's a good reminder, I think, that even when you're dealing with decentralized finance, you can't just ignore the legal side of things. The rules, the frameworks, they still apply.
Right. Now, let's zoom over to Dubai for a second. They're really embracing the whole cryptocurrency thing.
Oh yeah, Dubai's all in. They're trying to position themselves as, like, the global crypto hub.
Yeah.
They're actively creating an environment that's super friendly to blockchain technology
Yeah.
and anything that comes with it,
It's like their pet project.
kind of.
So there's this company, DP World. It's a big global logistics company, and they're based in Dubai. And they're going to be using stable coins for their cross-border transactions. It's going to be like a whole new way of doing business internationally.
That's huge.
So,
It shows how Dubai's not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk.
right,
They're not just saying, oh, we like crypto. They're actually using it
right.
to solve real-world problems, which is awesome.
Exactly.
And the potential impact on global trade, especially in emerging markets, it could be huge.
Yeah, because like you said, it's not just about like investing and making money.
Right. It's about making things work better.
Right, it's practical.
It's about making things faster, more efficient, and more accessible for everyone. That's where the real power of blockchain is.
Yeah. And Dubai is not stopping there. They're also working with Rackspace Technology to build this digital healthcare hub, all powered by AI and cloud computing.
Oh,
It's
wow.
really cutting edge stuff.
I mean, just think about it, like all the potential benefits of AI in healthcare.
Right.
Faster diagnoses, treatments that are actually tailored to you.
Personalized?
Yeah, personalized medicine, and even like the administrative side of things.
Right.
It could be way more efficient.
And it shows that Dubai is like really serious about this whole digital innovation thing.
Absolutely. It's like
Yeah.
they're building the city of the future right now.
Yeah.
And we get to watch.
Yeah. It's like a glimpse into what healthcare could be like, down the road.
It's exciting. It's a little scary too,
Oh, yeah.
because it's so different from what we're used to, but it's definitely worth paying attention
Well,
to
it is.
because this is where things are headed.
It is the future.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're picking up where we left off, untangling this whole web of AI, Bitcoin, and global shifts. I'm still thinking about BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF idea. Could be a game changer.
Yeah, BlackRock, the heavy hitters. And their proposed ETF. It's not just another ETF. George from Blockchain DXB, he was geeking out about it, remember? It's not just about tracking the price of Bitcoin.
It's like they're offering a direct line to Bitcoin itself.
Right. You can actually redeem your shares for actual Bitcoin, not just cash. It's wild.
It's a bold move. It really could change how traditional finance sees cryptocurrency. I mean, this in-kind redemption thing, that's not your typical ETF structure. It's like they're saying, we're serious about this. Bitcoin is a real asset.
Yeah, and George seemed to think this whole thing could help stabilize Bitcoin's price, too.
Which is huge, right?
Yeah.
Volatility has always been the big problem.
Huge. Makes
Yeah.
people nervous.
Yeah, exactly. The big players, they don't like uncertainty. They want risk stability, predictability. If BlackRock can smooth out those crazy price swings, it could be a floodgate. All that institutional money could start pouring in.
Like a tidal wave. And then who knows, more investment, more adoption, more legitimacy, maybe even some clear regulations finally. Wouldn't that be nice?
It's certainly possible, but it also makes you wonder, right? If Bitcoin becomes part of the system, part of the establishment, does it lose something? Does it lose that decentralized spirit that made it so revolutionary in the first place? That's what a lot of crypto folks are worried about.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's like a paradox almost. For Bitcoin to be accepted, it might have to change, become more like the thing it was trying to disrupt. Fascinating to think about.
Oh, it really is. It shows how these technological advancements, they're not always simple. There are trade-offs,
Yeah.
unintended consequences. Speaking of which, remember KuCoin, that cryptocurrency exchange that got into hot water, legally, I mean.
Oh, yeah. KuCoin. Big news. Big reminder that even in the wild west of crypto, there are still rules. You can't just do whatever you want.
Yeah, that guilty plea from the co-founder is a big wake-up call for a lot of companies. Regulators are watching. They're figuring things out. It's not the Wild West anymore.
300 million in fines and forfeitures, that's not messing around. What exactly is a money-transmitting business, though? Some people listening might be wondering, what did they even do wrong?
It's basically anyone moving money around, especially across borders. Traditionally, that's been banks, financial institutions. But crypto throws a wrench in things. Suddenly, you've got all these new players, and the regulators are trying to figure out how they fit in.
Yeah, so KuCoin got caught in the middle of all that. A cautionary tale. Don't assume you're off the grid just because you're dealing with crypto.
Exactly. Stay informed, know the rules, don't assume anything. Now, on a more positive note, let's head back to Dubai for a minute. They're really going all in on crypto, aren't they?
Dubai, Yeah. They're like the poster child for crypto adoption right now. It's not just talk either. They're putting their money where their mouth is.
DP World, that logistics company, using stablecoins for international payments. That's a big deal. They're not just talking about it, they're actually doing it.
Yeah, and it's not just about speculation and getting rich quick. They're trying to use this tech to solve real-world problems, like that healthcare hub they're building with Rackspace technology.
The potential for AI and cloud computing in healthcare is massive. Think about it. Faster, more accurate diagnoses, personalized treatment plans, administrative tasks streamlined and automated.
Yeah, it's like a whole new era of medicine, and Dubai's right there on the front lines.
It's really exciting stuff. A little daunting, too. You know, it's like, are we ready for this?
I know what you mean.
But Dubai seems to be saying, yes, we are, and we're going to build it now.
It's like they're building the city of the future, and we're all just watching in amazement. But it does make you wonder, are they being realistic? This is a huge undertaking, lots of challenges.
For sure.
Yeah.
But you have to admire their ambition, their willingness to experiment, to push the boundaries. They seem to get that innovation involves taking risks. It involves failing sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's all part of the process. You learn from your mistakes, you adapt, you keep moving forward.
It's a good lesson for all of us, really, in any field. Embrace the unknown. Don't be afraid to fail. Now, while Dubai's looking ahead, George's update also brought up someone from Bitcoin's past. Roger Ver, Bitcoin Jesus. Remember him?
Oh yeah, can't forget him. Early adopter, big believer, got in some trouble later on.
Yeah.
His story's like a microcosm of the whole Bitcoin saga.
Early days, Wild West, lots of idealism. And then reality sets in. The legal system catches up.
His arrest for tax evasion, the big story, reminds us that even in the world of crypto, you can't escape the law. And his plea to former President Trump for help, that just adds another layer of weirdness to the whole thing.
It's like a bizarre international thriller unfolding in real time, and Bitcoin is right at the center of it.
The case is still ongoing, so who knows how it'll all play out. But it's a good reminder that crypto is still a young space. There are going to be ups and downs, unexpected turns, big personalities.
It's never dull, that's for sure. The one thing that really struck me about George's update was how he ended it. With an Ask Me Anything session, listeners could ask him anything about crypto, blockchain, the whole shebang.
Oh yeah, I like that. It shows that he's not just talking at people, he's engaging with them. He wants to have a conversation, make this stuff accessible.
Exactly. Because this world of crypto and blockchain, it can seem really intimidating to outsiders.
Yeah, it's like a secret language sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's important to break down those barriers, encourage more people to get involved, ask questions.
Because this stuff matters. It's going to affect all of us eventually. So, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are some key questions our listeners should be thinking about? What should they be asking themselves?
I think the most important question is, how does all of this affect me personally? Not just in some abstract way, but in my daily life. How will it affect my job, my finances, my health, my relationships? It's time to connect the dots.
Yeah, get out of the theoretical and into the real world.
Right. It's easy to get lost in the hype, the headlines, the jargon.
Yeah.
But we need to remember that these technologies are tools.
Tools that we can use to build a better future. Or not. It's up to us.
Exactly. The future isn't set in stone. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make, individually and collectively. And the more informed we are, the better choices we can make.
So stay curious, stay engaged. This is just the beginning.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground. AI, Bitcoin, global shifts, Dubai going all in on the future. It's amazing what you can learn from just one guy's, like, morning coffee ramblings, right?
It is. It's like George from Blockchain DXB. He gave us this little window into how everything's connected.
It's like a reminder that the world's a lot smaller than we think and a lot more complex. But before we wrap things up completely, let's take a minute, recap some of the big takeaways from George's Crypto and Coffee update.
Yeah, good idea. So, first up, AI. The landscape's changing fast. DeepSeek, this Chinese platform, it's shaking things up, challenging the U.S. dominance, the ChatGPT and all that.
It's a good reminder that innovation can come from anywhere, and it's probably going to be a lot more like a global effort going forward, not just one country calling all the shots.
Right, a multipolar world, like we were saying. And that's exciting, but it also means we need to be extra careful, right? Think about the ethics of AI, how to make sure it's used for good, not for bad stuff.
Definitely. Transparency is key. And accountability. We can't just let AI develop in a vacuum. We need to be having these conversations now, before it's too late.
Okay.
Okay, so that's AI. What about Bitcoin? What stuck with you?
BlackRock. Definitely BlackRock. That Bitcoin ETF they're proposing. With that in-kind redemption twist, that could be huge. It's like a bridge between the traditional financial world and crypto.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, Wall Street, we're making it safe for you to come play in the crypto sandbox.
Right.
And if the big institutions start pouring money into Bitcoin, who knows what could happen? Maybe it'll finally stabilize the price. Maybe we'll finally get some clear regulation.
Yeah, I mean, that's the dream, right? Stability and clarity.
It's the dream. But it also raises some questions, like, if Bitcoin becomes part of the system, does it lose its soul? Does it lose that rebellious, decentralized spirit that made it so appealing in the first place?
Right. The whole reason it was created was to be different, to be outside the system. So, yeah, it's a bit of a dilemma.
It is. It's a balancing act. And it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Now, let's not forget KuCoin, that whole legal mess they got themselves into. A sobering reminder that the rules still matter, even in the world of crypto.
Yeah, $300 million in fines. That'll get your attention. It shows that regulators are paying attention. They're not going to let crypto operate in a completely lawless zone.
Crypto companies need to be smart. They need to stay informed, know the rules, can't just assume they can do whatever they want just because they're dealing with, magic internet money.
Right. Magic internet money with real-world consequences.
Exactly. All right, so we've got AI evolving, Bitcoin finding its place, and regulators trying to catch up. But then there's Dubai. They're not waiting for anyone. They're just going for it.
Dubai is like, hold my beer. I'm going to build the future right now.
They're like the ultimate early adopters. Stablecoins for international payments. A healthcare hub powered by AI. They're not just dipping their toes in the water. They're diving right in.
It's bold. It's ambitious. And a little bit crazy, maybe?
Maybe. But it's also really inspiring. They're not afraid to experiment, to take risks. They're embracing the unknown. And that's what progress is all about, right?
It is. It's like, forget the fear of failure. Just try things. See what works. Learn as you go. That's the Dubai spirit.
Exactly. So after all that, what's the big takeaway? What should people be thinking about as they, go about their day?
I think the big takeaway is this. We're living in a time of incredible change. Things are moving fast. AI, crypto, blockchain, it's all evolving so quickly.
And it's easy to get overwhelmed, to feel like you're being left behind.
Right. But the important thing is to stay curious, stay engaged, keep learning.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to experiment yourself. Because this future we're talking about, it's not some predetermined thing.
It's being created right now by all of us.
So what kind of future do you want to be a part of? That's the question we all need to be asking ourselves. And then go out and, make it happen.
I love that. Make it happen. That's a great way to end this deep dive. Thanks for joining me on this journey, exploring the world of AI, Bitcoin, and all the crazy ways they're shaping our future.
It's been a pleasure. Always happy to dive deep into these fascinating topics.
And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay engaged, and keep exploring. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.